Welcome to Strikeout Beer Miss, day number 20 something, maybe 21. I don't know. We'll see. But today, you know what? Before I get into this, I'm Alan, and joining me as always is
Rapid Dave.
There we go. He's doing that. We're drinking from Bell's Brewing, which I love Bell's Brewing. They're up there in Comstock, Michigan. Michigan's my home state. I love what they brew out there, but we're drinking Christmas ale. It's a Scotch ale. And let's hold on a second. Let me pull this up. And this traditional Scotch ale is rich and malty with notes of caramel and a warm finish. Certain to make any occasion festive or at least a bit more bearable. Enjoy with the company of friends and family. 7.5% alcohol by volume. Says no IBUs. Average score of 3.73 out of 5 out of 51,768 ratings.
Okay, there you go.
Here we go. Let's give her a pour.
Looks pretty good. Smells pretty good. Be a break from the strong ales we've had lately. I was trying to look up. I was like, I should have done it already, but we were talking about everything else.
You're trying to look up what?
The notes, and there is Scottish ales, but there's a Scottish light, a Scottish heavy, and a Scottish export.
Okay.
So, since I don't know.
This was packaged almost 2 months ago. Probably 2 months, or actually over 2 months. This was packaged on October 12th, 2022.
Okay. So overall impressions, you're looking for a malt focused, generally caramelly, swear to God it's in there, beer with perhaps a few esters and occasionally a butterscotch aftertaste. Hops only to balance and support the malt. The malt character can range from dried and grainy to rich and toasty, and caramelly again. but is never roasty, and especially never has a peat smoke character. Traditionally the darkest of the Scottish ales, sometimes nearly black, but lacking any burnt, over roasted character. So I think with them saying that, it tells you if you get something that has any roast, any burnt, it's not. They didn't hit the note.
So good. Looking at it on camera, it looks dark.
Yeah.
But looking at it in real life, it's got a nice amber color to it. When you said toasty, I was expecting the next words out of your mouth to be roasty. But I didn't get it.
Roasty toasty, man. Appearance. Pale copper to very dark brown, clear, low to moderate, and a creamy off-white. So the head is perfect, right? Creamy off-white head. We're getting a very dark brown. It's almost red though, when you look at it in the light.
Like an amber. It almost looks like an amber beer when you look at it in the light, right? The camera does no justice. Everything always looks darker on the camera than it does in real life. This looks like an amber ale.
Yeah.
Is what
mouthfeel about medium to low, to medium body, and low to moderate on the carbonation. Can be relatively rich and creamy to dry and grainy. I think this one's going to be a little bit more. It got a little bit of dry, but it's pretty rich, to be honest with you. I like the head on it. The head and the carbonation, I think, are perfect. That's it.
Oh, okay. I was like, you just stopped almost like mid-sentence.
Yeah, I finished the sentence and I threw it to you.
Well, I didn't know you just kind of just abruptly ended. Here's what I'll say about this. It's got a really nice flavor to it. It's a little bit of, not overly boozy. It's got a little bit of booziness to it, but not overpowering. Again, this is a sipping beer. This is what this is. This is a sipping beer. This is kick back, relax. Hey, kids are in bed. and you and the missus, you pull out some presents. You're gonna wrap some presents, and if you're anything like we are in my household, wrapping presents means I grab the gifts, I take them to her, she wraps them. I sit there and I sip on a beer. She's done wrapping it. She hands it to me. I put it under the tree. This is the beer for that. That's what this beer is. Sit back, sip on a beer. Maybe you got a little Christmas story going on. Maybe you got some Christmas Vacation, Santa Claus, Home Alone. You've got Christmas movies playing on the TV. You're sipping, relaxing, having fun. The missus is wrapping gifts because let's just be honest, she's better than you are at wrapping gifts, and life is good.
Not catching that alcohol burn at all. Anywhere near close to the strong ales we've had.
Yeah,
But yeah, just really malty. Really a lot of flavor.
a lot of malts.
Not bad. It's kind of just a festive beer. I think this is like one of those perfect festive beers where you're like, you're not knocking back 6 of these. You're having 1 or 2, and you're like, yeah,
Oh, I'm not. Is
we're
that
hanging
a
out.
challenge?
Yeah, you're just gonna keep moving on. I don't know how everybody else does everything, but I have multiple beers in the fridge, like from every brewery around here, and even some that aren't around here. But yeah, it's one of those where
From Michigan. I don't know.
yeah, yeah. And so that's what I'm saying. Like these beers that I have, I didn't go out and get this beer as a I'm going to drink 6 of these. They're out there, yeah, sure, but
I would totally crush a 6-pack of this.
I just don't have Christmas beers on me in 6-packs. I'll have maybe 3 to 4, possibly 6 different versions of a Christmas beer, Christmas ale, things like that. And so I'm like, hey, it's time to travel, right? Like, I'm going to have this one. I'm going to have this one. I'm going to have this one. But yeah, like as far as steady beers, I don't have this. I don't think I've ever bought this beer in a 6-pack. I don't really intend to, but it's only because I have this beer once a year. And this is when I have it.
Yeah.
I have it during Beermas. I have it during our exchange. Or if me and you get together and talk and we want to have like a Bell's beer or something like that, it's the local bottle shop or craft beer bar that I'm going to, and they have a Bell's beer. I mean, hell, that one time I was down the street and they were like, yeah, let's get rid of this. It was Bell's something. I can't remember what it was. And he goes, yeah, we're trying to float this keg tonight, man. If you help me, it's all in the house. I go, just keep bringing the freaking glasses and I'll help you. And it was like, yeah. So like 45 minutes later, I was like, it floated. He goes, how the hell did that happen? I go, fucking, have I told you about my beer podcast?
Bell's Brew's a damn good beer. That's how it happened.
Really
here's the one thing that I think is missing with this. It's a Scotch ale, and I would expect like you're not getting that Scotch taste with it. You really aren't. And maybe I don't know.
That was my favorite part of this beer because I expected
you're not getting the Scotch taste.
I was
Because I
expecting.
think Scotch, I think whiskey. And I'm not getting that with this. It's very mild for a beer of this style.
Yeah.
Like, and maybe if I was a beer judge in a beer judging competition, I would just completely roast this beer, but I'm not. I enjoy it. I think it's good, but I don't think it's as advertised.
Well, I mean,
As a Scotch ale.
old Chubb, right? One of our pals from TikTok had Old Chubb. They tagged us in. I go, oh shit, that's Old Chubb, and it was like a Scotch ale. I'm like, I know exactly how that beer tastes. I know how Scotch ales how they taste. And you were like, hey, let's have this one. It's only 8% or whatever the hell it is. It says Scotch. I go, I don't want a Scotch ale beer. And it was like,
I do.
now it's quite tasty. I like it because it doesn't have that barrel age. It doesn't have that Scotch taste behind it.
I want that though.
And some people do. And I'm glad that I don't have it, but I think you're right. I think it's almost to the misleading part, right?
It's way too smooth for a Scotch ale for me. Again, I think this beer is good. I think it's delicious.
It should have some bite though. That bite is not there.
It should. It should have a bite. It should have if not just a bite, just an aftertaste that you drink it and you're like, You just you get that little bit of a kick on the after end. You don't get it with this, but still a really good beer, right? Again, we're not beer snobs, right? We're not the guys who are like, oh, well, this is supposed to be this, so it should taste like. No, it's still a good beer. I would like to have more of a Scotch taste to it. It doesn't have it, but it's still good. It's still delicious. For me, it still checks boxes. It still is a beer that I want to sip on during the winter time. Again, the missus is wrapping presents. As I bring them out, I'm putting them under the tree when she's done. Life is good.
It's a very creamy, over boozy amber ale. That's what this beer is. That's what it is. And you don't get a lot of the booze flavor because it's very creamy. I don't know.
Almost more. You hit it on the head with that amber ale comment. Like, it looks like an amber ale, and I think about it, it almost kind of tastes like that in amber ale. I really think you hit it on that. You really crushed it with that comment. Like, over boozy amber ale, but it doesn't taste over boozy, but it is a higher ABV than an amber ale.
Of course.
So
booziness came at the end when I just went ahead and knocked out the rest. But yeah, I'm that's how I feel about this beer. It checked some boxes. Don't get me wrong. I prefer this beer as it sits because it doesn't have the Scotch. It doesn't have that. It doesn't have that extra something, man. I don't know if it is. I'm just tired of Scotch. I'm tired of bourbon. I'm tired of barrel aged.
I
But
love that.
for me, it's like, yeah, thank God it didn't, because when you said like, yeah, you got that Christmas ale from Bell's, like, fucking, yeah, I got it. I don't want to drink it. But it actually was not a bad beer. Red color. If you're looking at it at some light, you're gonna have some red color. You're gonna have that creamy head on top. It should have had perfect carbonation, to be honest with you. I mean,
Well,
I poured it upside down, and that's how I test it. I test these beers. If I dump the beer into the glass and it still stays within, I know it's a pint glass. It's a 12-ounce beer, but with the head, it should stay in this glass. And when I dump it, so
I hard poured the S out of this beer, and it was great. Again, I almost feel like it should have been like an amber ale, but it wasn't. It was a Scotch ale. But I put aside what it was labeled as, what it tasted like, things like that. It was a good beer. Like, if you took the label off of this, like you had a beer bottle with no label, and you poured it and drank it, you would enjoy it. And that's how I like to judge my beers. Like, I don't want to judge them off of, well, this is this style, it should be this, and this. Did I enjoy it when I drank it? Peel the labels off, get rid of the labels. Did I like it? Yes, I liked it. I enjoyed it. I'm done with it. I want more. Yes, good beer.
well, there's two type of judges when it comes to this kind of stuff, and it's our buddies out at Brew Fighters, right? They always hit on the crowd favorites, right? Most popular things like that. They're not box checkers, but there is box checkers where you have to follow. You have to hit these boxes. You have to hit these marks where they actually produce. Like, hey, I went to style and I did this, and I think you're right. I think this does not hit to the style that it advertises, but
a crowd favorite.
It's a crowd favorite. Yeah, you're gonna sit there and drink it, and you're like, "Hey, I think I'm more shocked that it doesn't taste like Scotch," and so I'm like even more excited. I'm like, "Hey, this is pretty good beer. I like this beer."
Like, if someone gave you this beer and it had no labels, and you said, "What is it?" They just said, "Drink it." You would drink it, and you would love it, and you would enjoy it, and that's what this is.
Yeah.
And more so, again, like we do a beer podcast. Yes, we look for certain styles of beer, and we look for, hey, if I'm drinking a Hefeweizen, this is the flavor I want. But at the end of the day, if your beer's just good, I don't care, right? Like we've had several beers where we're like, well, this is labeled as this, but it's not that, but it's really fucking good. Just give me a good beer. That's it. Give me something I like to drink, something I'm enjoy to drink, and life's gonna be good. And that's what this is. It's not it. I don't get the huge Scotch taste, the whiskey taste, things like that. I get a nice smooth beer, a little bit higher on the ABV scale, but not out of control. Love it. Delicious. Hey, double thumbs up for me. Where are you at?
Thumbs up.
Yeah, but go. You know what? Stop what you're doing right now. You know what? This is like 9 o'clock probably in the morning, probably. Leave work. You know what? It's break time. Maybe wait an hour because liquor stores open up at 10 o'clock, and that's when you can go get this beer. So at 10 o'clock, take your break, go to your local liquor store, get you some Bills, Christmas ale. It's a Scotch ale. Get you some. Drink it, enjoy it. Thank us later. As always, I'm Alan.
Robert Dave.
We'll talk to you guys later. Deuces.